Hi, it's me again with CorelDraw tips and tricks. I thought snowflakes period of the year was over, but somebody sent me this today and they really like it and they want to know how to make it. And I'm not exactly, my diamonds are a little bit bigger, but I'm just giving him the idea on how to make it. So first of all, I see a six-sided star when I look at it. So I'm going to go to star and put six-sided. And I'm going to hit P and put it in the center of the page. But then I'm going to make the star fatter and kind of make that line across parallel. That's a little bit too much. So I want kind of like a straight line across there. I've changed, and for the one I'm doing it for, I changed your nudge factor to 0, 0. I am going to make this line something more than a hairline, and I'm going to go 1/4 inch. Now, I could go bigger than that or smaller, but then I'm going to go to Object, convert the outline to an object, and right-click, left-click. So now I've got this part of the pattern. Now, if you look at it, we have 3 lines going across it. So I'm going to, and this line, I was just looking at it, is kind of the length. Not much longer than that line. So what I did, I took my parallel dimension tool, and I'm going to go from like right there to right there. And so it's 2.79 inches. I'm going to draw a line that is, wow, 2.79, 2.7 is good enough. That's unbelievable. And then I'm going to hit P. But I'm going to rotate that line 30 degrees to put it on there. I'm going to Control D and make a duplicate, and I'm going to mirror that line. And then I'm going to Control D that line, and I'm going to turn it to 90 degrees. So there's my 3 lines. I'm going to nudge this out of the way. I'm going to go ahead and weld this together and make it something other than a hairline. I'm going to use that same 1.25. I'm going to go to Object, and convert the outline to an object. I'm going to left click, right click, and then I'm going to bring this back, and then I'm going to weld this. And there's the start. Now this other has kind of like a tree, and I'm not going to measure, I'm just going to eyesight it, and I'm going to hit P, put it in the center of the page. That's a little bit little or too big, so I'm going to hold down the shift key and make it grow from the inside out. And for the one I'm doing it for, it's going to be yours, so you can make it whatever you want. Now, I'm going to go ahead and make this line something other than a hairline, and I'm going to make it that 1.25, which is 1/8 of an inch. I am going to go ahead and convert it to an outline or an object. I'm going to left-click, right-click. But then I need to add, and when I was doing it to get ready for this, I didn't do it perfectly. So let's try to do a little perfectly this time. And I'm going to take a 2-point line and, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to hit P, put it in the center of the page. That's going to put my line in the center of that other line. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this part of the line and this part of the line. Now, whenever you delete a line like that, those lines are still connected, but if you go to Object and break the curve apart, then you can grab the one you don't want and delete it, and you still have that one. So now that center line, I could have done that with a hairline, I guess. I want to start from the outside, and I'm going to just move it up, and then I'm going to double click on it. I'm going to put the center rotation at the edge of it, and I'm going to rotate it 45 degrees. Control D and make a duplicate and mirror it the other way. But then I can take this line and move it over there. And I'm going to leave that line. And I'm going to show you what I could have done. I could have indexed that line. So I could put P, and that's going to show me the center. So that one's probably a little bit short. So I'm going to use it. I'm going to weld them together. And I'm going to move it upwardly, holding down the control button. Then I'm going to Control D and make a duplicate, and I'm going to bring that down, holding the control button, but I'm going to hold down the shift key and bring it outwardly to make it bigger. And then I'm going to hold down the control button. Now I'm going to take both these lines. I'm going to go to Object, convert the outline to an object, and I'm going to left click, right click. Whoop. I didn't make it any thickness. That might be a little bit thick and too close together, but if I left click, right, you know what, maybe I didn't turn them into an object. Left click, right click. Now, you should be able to weld this. And they're really, they're a little bit big. So let's make them a little bit smaller. Let's take this one. Holding down the shift key, you can bring that in. And then you can actually move it holding down the control button. Now it actually make it thinner, but that's, you know, that doesn't really matter. Holding down the shift key, that looks a lot better. Now, if we select these two, shift select our line and weld that. So there's our, not very, well, you can always change that. You know, you've got nodes right here. Just, you know, if you wanted this longer, just grab these two nodes, holding down the control button, so you could do anything you want. Now, right here, we want to delete these other lines, but I don't want to delete them right here because you could have a leak. So I'm going to just make a 2-point line, take the virtual segment delete key and delete these two lines. Same thing here. These are still connected, but if we go to Object and break the curve apart, then you can get rid of this line, get rid of this line. Now we're going to probably have to do a little bit of cutting, but we're going to control D to make a duplicate. I'm going to alternate C, which is going to put the rotation in the center of the page. And I'm going to rotate it 60 degrees and then Control D, Control D, Control D. Now what I'm going to do is take this whole thing. Sometimes this won't work, and it didn't. There's a lot of ways you can do it. By the time you figure it out, let me get rid of the indexing line because the indexing line is going to stop. Now, this is why I did not cut those lines right on the edge so it will not leak right there. And just real quick, you know, by the time you figure out back minus front, and you'd have to group them together, you can have them deleted. Because what we're going to do, we're going to take the Smart Fill tool and make a new shape. Now, once again, I made it a little different, but that's just how you can play with it. Now, take the Smart Fill tool and fill that in, and now you have a snowflake to cut out. Now, the only thing I did a little different than he did on whoever drew this is that my star was smaller and my lines were probably the same thickness, but it all depends on what you think looks good. You know, my first one is better than my second one, but you can always, you know, make it whatever size you want. Now, the one thing about that these are lines and hairlines that they will not change when you reduce them. And you could actually make this, you know, thicker and pretty easy. I mean, it's nothing to it. Anyway, I hope that gave them some ideas, and thank you for watching.